Hello and welcome back to Dial H for Heroclix. I'm your sexy ranch hand co-host Kalder and Simeon. This is episode 286. Howdy, howdy, let's get rowdy. Dial H for Heroclix is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day, including all the latest Heroclix singles and sealed products. Make sure to check them out at CoolStuffInc.com. Joining me in the studio this week, like pretty much every week, I have my co-host, Simeon Bruce. What's up, Simeon?
I don't know.
I don't know. You don't know?
I don't know.
I don't know. What
made me happy? I don't know. I don't know.
Hey, how'd you know? I was about to ask you. Whoa, what in the world? Like always, we like to start with what made us happy this week. Simeon, go for it.
All right, what made me happy this week was not an old video from the years gone by
Dark
of
ages.
some weird dude. It was actually my friend's birthday party. It wasn't a actual birthday party. It was just a party that happened extremely close to the birth date. But I played a lot of card games, tabletop games. Just a lot of Mad Gab, catchphrase, like the real crowd pleasers. I played Code Names is actually one I've never done before.
Oh, really?
Turns out I'm real good at it.
Nice.
At least giving clues. I'm pretty bad at guessing clues.
Ooh.
Because although the first clue I gave, it was like... So there was like unicorn, chair, and swing. And so like the clue I gave was mount. Because you can mount a unicorn, you can mount a chair, you can mount a swing.
Sure.
Not realizing in the bottom right corner was the word Olympus.
Ooh.
So the first, I was like Mount 3, and they're supposed to guess like from that clue which words I'm intending for them to guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first one they went with was like, well, clearly it's got to be Olympus is one of them. And I was just like, oh, and so that instantly ended the round because I was not paying attention.
Oh,
but
was that a red or was it the double agent guy or whatever?
it was like the opposite color. Got that one.
Oof, that sucks. Codenames is really fun though. I'm glad you finally played it. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
I own the Marvel version, so maybe just bring that down sometime. Play that. It's pretty
Ooh.
cool. What made
sounds
me
more fun.
happy this week was none other than the hardcore drug of meth. Recently, if you know what I'm talking about, a little bit of context here. South Dakota started a ad campaign, a rather expensive one, with our current methamphetamine problem that is ravaging the state. And
Meth.
the slogan for our new meth campaign was a picture of South Dakota with the words over it that said meth. We're on it. Wow. I don't know how many
Not
people
a single PR person was contacted in the making
not
of
a
it.
single person was like, hey, maybe we should, it kind of seems like it has another meaning, like maybe we should not do that. But no, that's our state. And it was in like Saturday Night Live. A few different talk show hosts talked about it. In South Dakota, you take what you can get. So even bad press is good press for the old meth campaign. But man, just the memes and the funny stuff that was on my timeline all day when that first released and the few days afterwards, really, really just made my week. It was hilarious. Hilariously kind of bad, but hilarious nonetheless.
Until you realize like your tax dollars paid for that.
Yep. And boy, was it expensive. Yikes. I don't know how we can spend $500,000 on an okay commercial, a really unenthusiastic graphic, and whatever t-shirts they might have sold. I don't know. But we sure did. So that sunk in, and that kind of killed the vibe for a little bit. But it's still pretty funny, and I'll still laugh at it, to be honest with you. So, yeah, meth. We're on it. And that's also a little bit of context for the Heroclix, Heroclix We're on it picture that I posted. So anybody that knows, they know, and it's pretty funny. pretty funny until I realized why I paid for that. Okay. Next in, we'll move on to the news section. The world of Heroclix is a very deep, riveting, and interesting one, just not this week. So for news, we have we're going to do the rules clarification first. It's fairly simple, and I don't have it pulled up. So basically the question was, if I use Colossal Retaliation to Colossal Retaliate on the target, someone who damaged a friendly character last turn, and they make shape change, which means they cannot be targeted this turn, can I make a attack? The answer is no, because they were chosen. You have to choose a target for Colossal Retaliation, then you move and place. That's the beginning of the free action, and then if they can't be targeted, they just can't be targeted, so you don't get to make an attack. Someone was wondering if that, even if there was another opposing character that was within range and line of fire, or like 3 squares, whatever, that damaged someone last turn. So there's multiple opposing characters that you could choose. The answer is still no, because you have to be placed specifically trying to target that one. So you normally declare Colossal Retaliation, whatever, Mangog, that's a terrible choice. Tri-Sentinel, oh, that's another terrible choice. Jeez, a Maridroid, kind of also a terrible choice. Goodness gracious. Skyscraper Wonder Woman is going to Colossal Retaliate on, Prez Ricard here. He doesn't have shape change, whatever. He has the mirror. Shut up. He makes shape change. I don't get to target anybody else. Wow. I can't believe I named like 3 different Colossal Retaliators and they're all bad.
Yeah, so
what do you think about the clarification?
An interesting thing about it is if Colossal Retaliation is activated and you don't make the attack, you still resolve the action and any actions that happen afterwards. So let's say you try and attack with Surtur and they make shape change so you can't target the person. He still does the 1 penetrating to everyone within 2 squares or whatever it is. Mangog still makes his second attack.
Yes.
So he wouldn't make the first one for 4, but he makes the second one for 3. Tri-Sentinel still destroys blocking within 3, and that would trigger penetrating damage to opposing characters next to the blocking. So there's some weird instances where things do still occur, but it's a very, very niche kind of a pocket corner case.
Yeah. That is pretty true. So that is the old Colossal Retaliation thingamabobber. Boy, that sure is pretty neat. How neat is that? Next up in the Heroclix news is the Heroclix Deep Cuts line, which is the line of unpainted miniatures. And we have a few new ones set to release for March. So not all of the X-Men from Regenesis were covered this time. Now these are the ones that are going to be in March 2020. We have Danger, Beast, Colossus, Gambit, Iceman, Rachel Summers, Hope Summers, and then we'll say that one for last. Namor, Angel, Kitty Pryde, Rogue, and then a DC Comics Batman and Catwoman. Everyone Loves Ivy. Monthly OP is also set for March. Sorry, excuse me. It's not a Deep Cuts line, but it is also set for March. I don't remember if we got an official date on that OP kit when it was announced with all the other ones. We also the pictures of all the OP kits, and I just didn't know if that one actually had a date or not yet. So I thought that was pretty cool.
No, yeah, I don't think they set a date. We got a bunch of DC LE kits coming down the pipe, but they didn't get dates set. So this is the first DC one we've got in a while. But it looks like the rare Batman sculpt reuse. Is that right?
I believe so, yeah, from
him
Rebirth.
Holding a batarang.
Nope.
I think Ivy. Oh, from Rebirth. Okay.
I thought it was from Rebirth. I could be wrong. I might have to, it's been a while since I looked at that. I just thought it was, because the only other rare Batman is animated, and I don't think it's animated.
No, it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And then, Ivy, I think, is a resculpt, and then I think Catwoman is the new sculpt. It's usually 2 reused, and then 1 new one. So, I mean, don't have much to go on, but it's interesting. The unpainted X-Men, so they are switch clicks. You can use the Regenesis bases or sculpts with these or vice versa. So you can paint these ones and then put them on a Regenesis base, or take the Regenesis one and put them on these so you don't have to paint them. They basically, I mean, Wolverine is the standout because he's 100 points, has Charge Flurry with an 11 for 4 and Precision Strike. So, I mean, just definitely going to be like a call-in for a while.
Sure.
Especially once Xavier's school rotates, you'll still have the Wanted ID, or the Bounty ID, whatever they call it. You'll still have that, and this one will probably be the one to call in if you have a 100-point character that can do so. Other than that, they gave a lot of the characters like every keyword that was feasible. Yeah. So Storm got Morlocks, Utopia, Wakanda, X-Men. Yeah, like most of them, it's like they're just on X-Men. You know, like they didn't really like get around a whole lot. But Wolverine's like the big standout. He's got Alpha Flight, Avengers, Jean Grey, School for Higher Learning, Weapon X, X-Force, X-Men. So he's been on all the teams.
Right on. Yeah, he kind of goes everywhere. Little Canadian guy. He gets around. And that really is it for news this week. It does seem a bit dead. Don't worry. In the future, we have a really cool idea coming your way for podcasts that'll help fill out this seemingly dead zone until we get into 2020 and the release of the greatest set ever, Captain America and the Avengers.
Justice League Animated. Wait, what?
Never heard of it. Moving right on, we're going to go ahead and roll into the community section.
There are dozens of us! Dozens!
Community Tuesday's question was, what's your Clix home away from home? Your favorite Heroclix venue to travel to? Simeon, what's yours?
Favorite Clix venue to travel to it's got to be a toss-up, because I really liked Nashville. I really liked the whole Elvis thing. But Rainbow Comics is the venue I go to the most out of town. So it's got to be a toss-up between those two.
Oh, right on. I want to say, and I also don't want to say, Krypton, just because like it's the super obvious answer, because that's your local venue, and that's basically the one that we also all go down and kind of travel to. But I also really enjoy, so like shout out to Krypton, just for being Krypton, because it's awesome. But also, every time I go there, I think this place should just be blown up millions of light years away. I just don't understand how it's here. But I really enjoy
because of the name, not because of the quality.
Oh no, not because of the quality. It's an amazing venue. They're really cool people. Everybody there is pretty friendly, and then they also have like a great selection of Heroclix, and they do a really good venue. Judge is kind of a terrible person though. I kind of hate that guy. So, jeez. But I really enjoy. Is it Game Cafe? Now this like seems bad that I like don't totally know the name, but the Kansas City is it not Game Cafe, the Kansas City one?
Yes.
Independence.
So it's not in Kansas City proper.
Right, it's in Independence,
but yes,
Missouri or whatever.
Yeah, the Game Cafe. I've been there as well.
But yeah. I like besides the top room they put us in for a few times, and that being miserably hot. Besides that, the people there are really nice. The lady on the counter is really cool, and then the guy that runs them is a pretty alright guy. He's not the best judge, that's okay, but he's a really cool dude. Seems pretty laid back. And I also bought like thousands of dollars worth of Heroclix there that I got for $100 one time, and it's really hard. The fact that I literally bought all of their like back stock old like Heroclix and turned one heck of a profit from it. Now there was a lot of sorting, and everybody hated the fact that we went home with 3 humongous tubs of Heroclix. But I enjoyed it, and it was super fun. And they almost always do sealed exclusively. I don't think we've ever done constructed down there, but driving 5 hours for sealed is still fine. I enjoy sealed. I just, it sucks when you don't pull well, but I still enjoy it.
I prefer it, but... Well, yeah. I mean, it would suck if you pulled, like, a super rare Daredevil and an Ultra Chase. That would be the worst. I can't imagine doing that.
Imagine like doing really bad with that team though,
and then totally going like 0-3.
Yeah, like just being really terrible at Heroclix.
No. Yes. I know Devon's also had like tons of really good luck. I think he pulled a God Pack out of the World's Finest at that location as well.
What?
So yeah, I think he like went for like a sealed event, and like that was his pack, and he was just like, all right, cool, see you guys later. Like,
that is awesome. But yeah, no, I really enjoy going to Seal down there. There's some pretty good guys down there, and of course, getting to have some Kansas City barbecue and seeing the one only Dark Logos Everett Shelton is always a treat. So that's always really cool.
Yes.
Moving on. Yeah, Starting Over podcast, a YouTube exclusive podcast. I want to do the theme song, really good. Quite enjoy that guy. It's a pretty cool guy, that Edward. That's a really old reference. If anyone gets that one, yikes. Anyways, Simi, you want to go ahead and start us on Facebook?
All right, on Facebook we've got Levi Reynolds says Third Eye Games in Annapolis is his favorite, hands down.
Nice. On Twitter, Little Plastic Superheroes, the Ruffian, said it was comics and collectibles in Sacramento, but it fizzled out. Mad Alpaca Games in Fairfield, California, is growing. If anyone in the Sacramento Bay Area is looking for a venue, hit me up. I just like the name of Mad Alpaca. That's pretty funny.
Oh yeah, and I should mention, like, I've had plenty of venues that I used to go to that are no longer venues. So
same, yeah.
Not going to shout them out because there's nothing to shout out anymore.
That is correct.
So Vigilante Jeff Boyer, I don't typically travel outside of the greater Portland area to play. I'd say the most common distant venue is Olympic Cards and Comics in Olympia, Washington. They often are the venue in Washington for WKOs and major ROC events. I also know up in that territory is where Gongai Games is, and they host a lot of ROC things as well. So,
oh, right on.
Never been to any of them, but
yeah,
you know.
Alexander Tavaro said, I haven't. Little emoji, a little confused little emoji, like, nope, haven't. Appreciate the answer anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I went like the first 3 years of my Clicks career without ever going to another, like a secondary venue. Not even like a local one. It was just like the fun like local games, and occasionally like a monthly event or like a summer event. Like Age of Ultron was like the most competitive that I got in a long time. Ooh. And that's all sealed, so that's not saying a whole lot. Oh. Howard Brock says, I have gone to a lot of venues. I enjoy many of them, but if I had to choose one, it would be Frontline Games. Howard Brock, of course, the owner and operator of Lucky Dice Cafe. And that's in Huntsville, Alabama, right?
That is in Huntsville, Alabama. It's got some pretty good sandwiches. I really like those. I'm not gonna lie, I really like those sandwiches. The chicken sandwiches are pretty darn
I've never been, but I could go for some wings if I ever do go.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a big wing guy. I like to get my wings.
Hot dogs weren't too bad. I only had one. Well, it wasn't the best, but it wasn't too bad. I'm not gonna give it a glowing review. I'm gonna be honest with you. But the Raza Ghul Reuben, now that was good. That was real good. Jacob Marcus says that would be Rainbow Comics in Sioux Falls. It's always nice to make it down and see you folks. Well, thank you, Jacob. We appreciate that.
Sounds like a terrible place. David G. Gaffney says best location to travel to is Erie, Pennsylvania. Game Corps and Griffin's Lair. Much nicer, friendlier crowd. Not hardcore meta. Really enjoy taking a trip down there. Favorite place to play. I've never traveled to a place, like, not saying I've traveled to a place to play like casual Heroclix. Most of the time if I'm going to travel, not that there's like something on the line, but I'm only going to travel to support a store when they have like a buy-in. I'm not going to travel and be like, hey, I'll buy like a soda pop and a booster pack and then play in your like regular casual game. I'm gonna play in like a sealed event or like a WKO, or I'm gonna try and help them out when they've put up the money for like the event. And so I don't actually know of any that I've gone to. I'm not gonna say like Rainbow is hardcore meta, but it's definitely like I go there for competitive stuff.
Right. I mean, those 14-year-olds, they'll freaking get you. I tell you what.
Yes.
No.
They will get under your skin. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna get too far into that. I gotta see him. So, Citizen Ronnie says my Clicks venues tend to close, but currently I'm bunkered down at Phoenix Rising in Salsbury, Maryland. Now I'm hungry for a Salsbury steak.
What even is that?
It's like the grossest form of beef you could possibly combine. It's pretty
it's
nasty.
Like the worst cut with like gravy covered over it.
It
right?
absolutely is. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It is.
The gravy makes it easier to chew.
Oh wow, yeah, it is normally pretty tough. But yep, that's that answer.
So John Murillo on Facebook says MacNarb. I don't know if that's actually how it's pronounced, but it looks like MacNarb Gaming in Gautier. I'm guessing MS. Is that Missouri?
Yes.
I want to say Missouri.
No, Missouri's MO. MS
MO, so it's Minnesota?
No, Minnesota's MN. Is
geography.
Mississippi MS or is it MI? No, it's MI. Or is it Mississippi?
I don't know.
Someone's going to be like...
Gautier MS. It's not Maine either. It's one of them.
Keep going.
Let
me look at
Nebraska.
So bad.
Is that one?
Nope, it's not Nebraska, sadly.
Yep. It says, I try to go there at least 3 to 4 times per year. I apologize
That's Mississippi.
for my lack
it's Mississippi. All right.
Geography understanding.
Yikes. All right. Jeez.
I live in this country. I promise.
I swear I live in this country.
I'm from here. I believe I was born here. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Not sure. Wasn't really conscious when that happened. Not entirely. Wasn't really aware. Michael Fedor said Snake Eyes Gaming in Altoona, PA.
Ooh, Snake Eyes. Citizen Peter Marshfield says, I generally don't get much traveling for clicks. My home base has been Diversion Games in Newberry, Ohio. But when I do travel, it's to Ground Zero Comics and Games in Strongsville, Ohio, about an hour drive for me.
Oh, nice.
I've got a couple friends from the Ohio area.
Really? I didn't know you had friends.
I was going to say they probably wouldn't agree to that statement, but I'm allowed to call them that because I have their contact information.
Ooh. That you could have probably said that in a less weird way. My last one on Twitter. Yep, that's what it comes down to.
Your contact information too, Calder.
We are at least acquaintances, if not less or more than that. Emmanuel, I'm gonna butcher this. Oliveria, could be wrong, might be right. You never know. He said the Comic Dimension, Rebel Base, and Parker Banner Kent in Wayne. And every time I think of Wayne, I think of Wayne, Nebraska. But then he said NC, so obviously, yep, North Carolina. I don't know why it took me so long to think of it. So yeah, that is my last one on Twitter. So go ahead and give us the rest on Facebook, Simeon.
All right, couple of quick answers. PJ Bolin says Eternal Games. Not sure where it's at. I think PJ is in the... I'm not even going to guess. I wanted to say Kentucky, but I have no clue. I just know he's on Phoenix Nest.
He lived in Hobbiton. Middle Earth, right?
I don't...
him and Matt.
No, he's got like the dwarven beard. It's not a hobbit beard. They're clean shaved.
That's true. Well, even then, I know a hobbit with a dwarven beard. So I mean, come on. These are confusing times. Lives under the mountain. I don't know.
Jay Sanson says Bob's Hobby House in Pensacola. It looks like Bob's, but because it's Bob with an E. Is that Bob's?
Oh, interesting.
Bob's Hobby House?
Maybe actually. I don't know.
I want to say Bob's, but it's Bobby's? I don't know. Jason Carr says Gongai Games in Beaverton, Oregon.
Ooh, another Gongai Games.
Yes. Christopher E. Cottrell says Heroes in Games in Columbus. And then Matt Greikanos says Lucky Dice Cafe. And one of these days, I'll nail that pronunciation.
Lucky Dice Cafe? No, I think you did pretty all right when you said it there.
Thank you. Yes, Lucky Dice Cafe. Is it coffee?
Cafe? It's got that little hyphen thing, It's pretty difficult to throw me off, guys.
That was all we had on Facebook.
Fantastic. Kind of reading this made me think, do you like have a venue where while you were just out and about traveling that you once like stopped in, like were real far from home, and it wasn't like even trying to go to a tournament or anything, or like, Columbus, Ohio, like stuff like that. It was just like popped in and played Heroclix at a venue randomly out there. You ever done something like that?
I've never done like the random, like normally if I'm in a place, if I'm in like a out of state kind of like thing, I'm on like a mission,
Okay.
So like I try and do a road trip once a year where I'll go to like a national park and I'll drive about a total of about like 18 hours like there and back.
Jeez.
So this last summer I went like to Wyoming, down to Colorado, hit like Fort Collins, hit Colorado Springs, like just like a bunch of stuff like that, and then back to Nebraska. And so like in total, like the whole trip was about, I want to say like a 14-hour drive, but it was over the course of, like 6 days. But while I'm out there, I'm out to like sightsee, I'm out to do like touristy things, so I'm not going to stop into actually that's not true. I did stop into a game store there, but it wasn't to play. It was just
Check it out.
just had time to kill and was in like the mall. So
Right on. The reason I asked, I don't know, just wanted to see when I would earlier in the early days of Heroclix and my playing, when I would travel around a lot, I would always try to find venues if I knew I was going to be in a city for 3 or 4 days or whatever, and just like I was going to buy a pack of Heroclix and play or something. And it worked out one time. I was in Las Vegas of all places, and I was like, yeah, I'll play Heroclix down here. Bored, so why not? And yeah, I played Heroclix, and this was around the time, it was like 6 or 7 months after the Clicks TV podcast like just stopped, and Swag Neto was there, which is really pretty cool. Pretty cool to like meet him. And he was like, "What? You listened to our podcast?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did. When you still had it, And like, like I thought that was like really cool. That was like my first interaction ever of like meeting someone who I had like listened to their stuff, and that was like a really neat. I don't remember what the comic store was called. But we played in the back room, whatever, and just played some Heroclix, and that was pretty fun. So yeah. And moving right along in community to Jedi Legends Heroclix Tip of the Week.
You don't want to sell me death sticks.
I don't want to sell you death sticks.
You want to go home and rethink your life.
I want to go home and rethink my life.
He says, don't forget, there was a subtle, not really, change to the Mystic's team ability. It now deals penetrating damage not unavoidable. The tip, Invincible can stand up to any Mystic's damage being dead. That's right. Invincible doesn't care if you're penetrating. It reduces it. But bam! Get crushed. Also, as well, Mystics is no longer uncopyable. It says subtle change. It was also one of the few changes me and Chris went over in that episode where we talked about all the new rules changes in 2017. So yeah, I think that was pretty cool. So yeah, do you ever go like, haha, I don't take Mystics damage? Or has it been around long enough where you're just kind of like, yep.
it's mostly like to the point where if I'm playing a team where I've got someone with Invincible, which doesn't happen super often because I don't like stack teams in any specific way, but I will. Like we played a Bizarro game at Krypton on Thursday, and I can't remember who was it that had Mystics. It was someone, that's for sure.
Yep.
I was going against somebody that had Mystics, and two of my characters had. So in Bizarro, we play like end dial, and then you click them towards click 1. Start on like their last click, and then you click them towards like the front instead of the normal way. And so I just attacked with my people who had Invincible instead of the other people. And turns out it works, because, yeah, Mystics is bad now.
Mystics is not that great. Let's kind of be real. I find I have to remind not so much newer players, but older players of stuff like this, just because they think it works that way, and it's like, yeah, it got changed a little bit. Heck, some of the rulings that seem pretty obvious in 2017, I am not entirely sure of sometimes because I get them wrong. So, but thank you so much, Jedi Legend, for remembering to have a tip this week. We really appreciate that. And that is.
Thank you, Calder, for remembering the Jedi.
Right? Yeah, actually saying it on the show. Boy. But that really is it for the week. This podcast ran really pretty short, and so, Simeon, did you want to talk about our idea for upcoming shows, or do we want that to be a surprise?
I mean, we might as well mention it.
Right.
So for those of you who listened on a regular, we're going to come into like kind of a content shortage as far as new stuff and like news and previews and stuff coming out. We'll still be doing those as they go, but in this little dead zone that we've got, me and Kalder kind of want to do a quick little series on like, so it's like your day one of Heroclix, like what do you do? Like kind of thing. And so we're just going to do some quick episodes, try and keep them under like 30 minutes. And you'll be able to reference like new players to those if you don't have time to explain it to them. Like, you know, at that moment, you'll be able to just reference them to these episodes, and we'll probably put like a little disclaimer in the episode title so that you know that's what they are. And yeah, we'll go over like finding a venue, finding groups online, building teams, just like quick little episodes with like the very basics. So if you're a old player, you can still listen to them, and you might like pick up on something that you didn't think of, or you might just be able to like enjoy the banter. I don't know, but otherwise, it's mostly going to be geared towards like people who are fresh off the bus and ready to be beat down in the prison yard of Heroclix.
Well, don't know if I'd put it quite that way, but yeah, absolutely, that is our plan. I hope people enjoy it. A few things I want to remind people is if you enjoy the podcast and you want to support the show and also get entered into our monthly raffles and also get some cool stickers and action tokens. That's right, action tokens are coming up, ladies and gents. You can go ahead and do that at patreon.com/dialH for Heroclix. We also have a Discord where I hate it, but it's there. So if you want to chat with us directly, we have a few different chat rooms. We have questions, one's about team building, we have a general chat, and soon, from now on, we're going to have, once we get more Patreons in there, there's only about 6 Patreons besides like me and Simeon in there that are actually in the Discord. We want to start doing a round of Bad Samaritan before we record each week. So once we had enough people, we're going to start randomizing folks. We choose about 30 minutes prior to recording, and I'll choose 3 figures, and you, Simeon, and maybe one other person will also be on the team. So we just want to go ahead and start playing some more Bad Samaritan and have a little more listener interaction in our Discord. So absolutely, if that interests you at all, for as little as $1 a month, you can go ahead and get invited to that, play Bad Samaritan, and also win all these cool, amazing things raffling. Like this month, we have a Choose Your Own style raffle. We have an LE Daredevil, Power Woman, Joker, and Lockjaw. The first name drawn will get a choose, and the second name drawn will then get a choose after what's left, and you'll both get a really cool LE of your choice, because choices are awesome. Why just get stuck with something you maybe don't want, and instead it's like, there are 4 things, and I may or may not want one of them, and I shall choose one. And if I don't, then I'll just choose this to give to somebody else, because giving is pretty darn cool. Reminding you also that we sometimes upload videos on YouTube. I like to do unboxings, so I normally like to upload those on YouTube. I might do team building videos and maybe some more like maybe starter set reviews. It all depends on the interest that people might have. So if you enjoy YouTube videos at all, unboxing, stuff like that, and you want to see more of that content on our YouTube, go ahead, write in, let us know. If you want to get a hold of us, you can do that at dialhforheroclix@gmail.com. We're on facebook.com/dialhforheroclix. Our Twitter is @dialh4. That's the number 4 Heroclix. And of course, you can find the podcast on YouTube, Podbean, and iTunes, and wherever awesome podcasts are found. One more thing before we go and wrap this show up. We are recording episodes of Dial C for conventions. If you are interested in convention culture at all and want to check some of those out, or if you know anyone who enjoys cosplay conventions and all of that stuff, go ahead and tell them to go ahead and check that out. That is going to be uploaded to our main Dial H for Heroclix flow, the way we just record and edit and send out a new podcast, upload a new podcast every week. It's still just going to be uploaded there, but it's going to be titled Dial C for Heroclix, and it will have a much lower recording number, episode number like 1 and 2, stuff like that. We answered Malcolm Rush's questions about conventions, kind of an overall feel of it, and that would be a really good episode for you guys to listen to. It'll be uploaded later this week. And before I go, speaking this week, I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Those of us that are in America, which is the majority of the listeners, have some good turkey, eat some good pie, and do stuff with the family And that is enough. I'm done ranting. This concludes episode 286. Simeon, go ahead. Any final thoughts and read us out of here?
Yeah, make sure you take a nap after your Thanksgiving meal, because otherwise you'll be like me and get grumpy because you're real tired. And with that, Dial H for Heroclix is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day, including all the latest Heroclix singles and sealed products. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Happy trails.
Thank you.